Today I fucked up by throwing sweet tea at my husband. My husband, M50, Australian, and I was sitting at the table and had just had the conversation about how I, F38, American, am obviously not the adult in the relationship. I had asked him to make a phone call because I have social anxiety and I'm like a kid, yo. I also have fibromyalgia and I am in a flare, so brain fog and general chronic pain are pretty strong today. After our conversation, my husband reached for something and hit my sweet tea glass, nearly knocking it over. Now, I had just tried to take a drink a few seconds earlier and there was no liquid in the glass. I swear. Oh, that was lucky, he said in his sexy, husky Australian accent. So me, being the child that I apparently am, picked the cup up and sloshed it, if that isn't a word, it is now, at him. I swear, I thought it was empty. It wasn't empty. Sweet tea, my nectar of the gods, hit him dead center of his forehead and ran down his face. And for 0.53 seconds, he just sat there, deadpan, staring straight ahead at the wall, trying to process why his beloved wife just threw sweet tea at him. And then he slowly turned his face to me and blinked twice as tea dripped off his eyelashes. And I lost it. I have laughed so hard I nearly blacked out. The wheezing, can't breathe, not making a sound, crying, type of laugh. I've pulled a muscle in my stomach and my head hurts, which is exacerbating the fibro flare. But oh, it's so worth it. My husband still hasn't said a word to me, but he is showing me memes, so I guess we're good. Too long didn't read. Today I fucked up by throwing what I thought was an empty glass of tea at my husband and he still won't talk to me. Obviously not the adult I can be on days when I want to be. Today is not one of those days. Sometimes I wonder why I even bother fucking feeding you, you silly goose. Yes, I am the 50M Australian husband, wearer of the sweet tea, bearer of many such shenanigans. This is just one of many examples of her childishness, and she still hasn't made the damn phone call. Edit, thank you for the awards! Exclamation mark. What is the Australian perception of the Southern dialect versus the normal American accent? I don't know that they really have one. A lot of people tell me that they are so used to hearing American people talk in movies and TV, that it's second nature to them and doesn't sound weird. I have, I guess, sort of a northern accent due to my mom being northern. I tend to round my O's sort of thing. It's only when I get mad or upset that the southern dialect comes out. Usually my husband will raise his eyebrows and giggle. That's the only time I really have that twang. But I will say, it took me about 6 months of being here every day to understand a lot of the Aussies. I swear, sometimes it was like a foreign language. I just wasn't used to hearing it all the time. Sloshed is a common term in Australia. It can be used as you used it here, or it can mean drunk. I'm sloshed equals I'm drunk. Common in the US the same way. He is riding out the guilt trip because we all know you will make it up to him. Today I fucked up by writing seamen instead of seamen on my history paper. Today I had a 15-page research paper due on the US Navy in World War II, and after an all-nighter, I was too tired to realize that I had mistakenly typed seamen instead of seamen for most of my paper. I just checked Google Docs and I did it a whopping 6 times. I am on friendly terms with my teacher and plus it's only a rough draft so my grade should be fine, but it is still very embarrassing and I will most likely get teased in front of the class. Funnily enough, I spelled seaman correctly but for some reason I misspelled seaman. In other news, I am contemplating if I should purchase Grammarly Premium or not. Too long didn't read. After an all-nighter, I was too tired to realize that I had typed seaman instead of seaman for most of my research paper on the US Navy. Don't worry, op. Somewhere out there, there's a teacher who just said orgasm instead of organism. Erection for insurrection is pretty trendy right now too. What's long and hard and filled with semen? A submarine. Thought you could use it as an icebreaker joke. Lamau. Do you mind if I steal your joke and tell it to my professor? I, too, hate it when I pull an all-nighter and end up with semen everywhere. We might be talking about 2 different situations here. Lol. As a history professor, I can assure you that you're not alone. You often get semen-filled papers? Google Docs frequently pisses me off with the things they choose to suggest corrections for versus the things they should be noticing. Preach! Exclamation mark. Today I fucked up by keeping my mammy doll gag gifts in my living room. I'm white. Growing up, my babysitter was an older black lady who had all these mammy dolls and knickknacks in her home. She collected them, probably over 100 mammy things in her home. They used to freak me out at night. Anyways, I pretty much grew up with her grandson. Lost touch. After college, re-in touch and roommates with him for 2 years. Move apart but stay friends. His grandmother passes, he gets her house along with the dolls. Gets married. Wife wants him to sell those racist ass dolls. I bring up again how I used to be scared of them. Christmas 2019 or so, he gives me presents. We don't normally do presents. Mammy cookie jar and 2 dolls. Haha, funny joke. Keep them cause his mom was like family. Stick them in a walk-in closet though out of sight. February 28th, I go to out of town for weekend for my birthday and he has my key and his wife was cleaning my cat's litter box and feeding it for me. Get a call asking if I have the dolls still and tell him yeah, they in the closet but not to give me any more cause I don't have room for them. I come home and he put them all over my living room. Took all my nautical decorations down and put like 15 knickknacks on the tables and 10 dolls and that cookie jar on my bookshelf being displayed. Replaced my wall stuff too. Come home to that and funny prank, but come get all this stuff. He says will this weekend. Something happened and didn't do it that weekend, then lockdown happened. I'm lazy so I never put them up anywhere and wasn't having anyone over so just left them. I actually did move some to put up the Christmas tree but I put them back when I put it up. Well, the morning I was woken up by my place shaking and loud noise. Guy drove into my house. All cops on his dumb ass. Cops come over, DUI the fucker and find drugs on him. Talking in my living room with cops cause it was raining and cold and realize I got a black officer in here and all this fucking mammy crap all over. Then another one shows up. Never been so embarrassed and now I probably have the 7 or so cops that were over thinking I'm either racist or a weirdo. My friend sounded like he was actually dying laughing and out of breath over the phone when I called to tell him what happened. Too long didn't read. Friend pranked me by redecorating my place with mammy stuff. Hi, guy drives into my house and black officers come in my white ass's mammy doll filled living room. Reminds me of Master of None. Don't worry, mammy forgives you, D. Oh my god, ha ha ha, no. Did you get the chance to explain that you're not super racist? Question mark. My parents recently bought the old house next door and have to clean it out. It's filled with mammy dolls and other racist memorabilia. The lady was white. Every time one of his less liked in-laws comes to town, my dad tries to sneak one into their car. He's yet to be successful. I think they're so adorable. They're worth a ton of money now. Keep them and cherish them just as she would. Heart. I found 2 of his on eBay bought at 40 to 60. I told him to get them and sell them himself. In March I'm about to tell him they mine now and I'll do it if he won't and keep it all for the trouble. His mom loved them obviously. I plan to keep 3. The cookie jar he originally gave me and the 2 dolls just to remember her by, but all these others have to go. There is one my ex thought was haunted and it does freak me out cause it's a half wooden doll. It looked really old and I haven't found it anywhere online.